Good morning. It is 10:30 a.m. It is Sunday, and that means it is time for Sundae Club. And Sundae Club is a weekly live stream where every week we take a look at building a Ruby on Rails application. And at the moment, that application is where someone can sign up as a user. They can give the app their YouTube channel ID and sort of give it their Twitch channel login or ID or something like that. And then the app can go and retrieve all the videos from those services like YouTube and Twitch. And it can also look and see if they have a live Twitch stream at the moment. And then it will have a web page where it shows all of that information. And each week what we do is we take a look at just different aspects and things of what it takes to build that app, just in a really casual way. No kind of production code or anything like that. A little bit about testing, but not too much. And we just kind of take a look around. And that's it, super casual. And we do that every week. So pretty much no follow-up from last week because it has been, it's been a hell of a week around here. So I haven't done anything on this since last week. But where we left things was we've been looking at auth and the process of the application being, our application being able to speak to those third-party providers, that's YouTube and Twitch. And initially we used like an app level key so we could go and get read-only information that was available to the public. And then what we did last week is we used the YT gem to trigger a URL that we could use to actually get authentication for being able to edit a channel. So we were then able to change the thumbnail on the actual Sundae Club channel. So we ran through the Google OAuth process and we were, got that key and everything we needed with the right scopes and all that stuff. And then we were able to make those changes. And that kind of just, I just want to pick up right where we left off from last week and kind of formalize that process. Like how would that work in a real application? So could we have a button that had that URL on and then we could run through the flow, and then when we get back we could save that information against the like somewhere, and then we can make changes on the channel and have that change in YouTube. And then we're going to do, I think we'll do YouTube first because we have the YT gem taking care of a lot of that stuff. And then we looked at the Twitch OAuth gem, so we could do the same thing there and look at how we might do that. So there's a lot to pack in, so I'm kind of just going to jump straight in. So we're picking up right where we left off from last week's stream. So let's get set up with some stuff to start with. So we've got our application here. We've got our response back that we got from YouTube last week, although I think we can probably regenerate that. And we've got a terminal here, which has got a server running. So what we can do is let's get a console up as well, because I think we will need to just kick off our import job to bring our YouTube channel up to date. So let's kind of get all of our let's get all of our foundational stuff that we need up and running. Okay, great. So let's do this in the UI because it's easier. So our channel is going to be called auth test. Create that site. We're going to give it our YouTube channel ID, which I can grab from the other window. Just bear with me. Which is right here. So we can paste that in. We can save that, and it will create. We want to create a user account. So I'm just going to type in some nonsense email address, which I will copy because I think we'll probably want back, and we can sign up. Great, so I'm signed in as that gibberish email address. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. I thought it was being super fancy and actually picking up our ID, but this is the code we wrote previously to check if this Twitch streamer was online, and if they are, show their stream, and if they're not, then don't. But it's pretty cool. He must be on a fairly regular schedule or a prolific streamer because he's always online when we run this stream. So that's pretty handy. Okay, so we could switch that to the Sundae Club channel, but I think looking at my face every time I go to the channel is probably not a good idea. Okay, so now we've got our channel up and running. We want to run our importer. Hopefully I've got that in my terminal. history that's recent. I bet I don't. I'm just going to keep pressing up until we find something that might be relevant. No, I'm going to have to look at it up. Look it up. Yeah, here we go. Great. So, and then we get there eventually. So we have a service, a YouTube service, import channel videos .new, and you can give it a channel and it will just be the last channel that was created. Nothing particularly scientific here. And when we call this job, it will not run because undefined local method. Okay, did I break this last week? I'm going to hazard a guess to say I did. Yes, very much so. What is that? I'm assuming that that's YouTube channel equals what? Yeah, no idea what happened there. That's some weird copying and pasting thing. That's okay. That's fine. So we can revert that change. There we go. Let's save that. So sorry, that was just this whole repo and my development environment is just a mess because I don't come back to it between each stream and tidy up and do the commits and stuff. But as I've mentioned before, that is on the list to wrap this project up in the next few weeks because I have been thinking about what we want to take a look at next and kind of just some adjustments that I want to make to the schedule of streaming and stuff like that. So we've run our service, and what that does, if you remember, is it runs over the channel. So YT channel, we have an API key, an app level API key that does read-only information. It will go and read any public channel, and it will go and get the YouTube videos for that channel. And then we're saving for each of the remote channel videos. It will loop over them, and it will skip if they already exist, and then it will just save them as a video record on our side, on this app side. So we should be able to go to this channel now, hit refresh, and I'm going to have to turn that code off because I don't want to see that stream every time, but we now have our YouTube videos. Great. So that's now we've got a populated channel and a user that we're logged in as. That's all good. So what we did last week is we generated the URL to attach that channel in the console, I think. And by attach, I don't know what the phrase is, like retrieve the OAuth permissions for that channel. I just generated the URL in the console and then just triggered it off manually. But what we really want to do is we want a way. What do we want? What do we actually want to do? We want a way for our application to say to a channel. Yeah, I think to a channel. Do you have OAuth credentials for a real YouTube channel? And if you remember, we spoke about this in the past. We just have a channel model, but we haven't bothered to differentiate whether it's a Twitch channel or a YouTube channel. And then we were talking a few weeks ago about using something like Rails delegated types and just all of the different options you would have to structure that. So that's in a stream. I think the first stream on OAuth we would have mentioned that. So if that's of interest, we looked at delegated types a little bit, so that you could say to the channel, do you know that you are a YouTube channel? Do you know whether you are a Twitch channel? Do you know whether you're some other video streaming service? And it could know that, or you could have them as separate models. You could use delegated types. You could do a bunch of different stuff. You could have properties on each one and that were only relevant. So what we want to say to this channel is, are you a YouTube channel? And if you are, do you have credentials for updating that YouTube channel on YouTube? And if not, we then want to show a link in the admin area for that channel for the user to go and trigger that process off. And let's build that first. Let's go do that because I don't really know how to do that. So we're going to go figure it out together. We have a control panel, which is our admin area. Oops. And if you kind of haven't seen this channel or this live stream, or you're watching after this, like all of these user interfaces, all these screens, they're pretty ugly. Like we haven't done any graphic designy stuff. We just practice with some Tailwind stuff. Again, all of that's in the channel. I don't think we have sites, but I think we might have channel.last.id is 37. And I think we can do control panel channels 37. Yeah, great. So again, I just know that because we don't have any navigation, so we haven't bothered to build. When I said in the intro that we looked at how to build stuff, like this isn't a Rails tutorial course or anything. So if you're looking at how to do stuff like navigation or more obvious things an application would actually need, I'm sure you can find really great tutorials and stuff like that. We've just kind of been doing things very ad hoc on this stream. So great. So this is our admin area for this channel. So what we want to do is be able to ask our channel a few different things. So this has got subscriptions, has many videos, belongs to a site. And I think during site setup, we had, actually looking at the controllers for that, we have this kind of site setup. We kind of create a channel here, and that just early on we looked at that process. So we gave our YouTube site ID when we were setting up the site. So what's the site name? What's the YouTube channel ID? And then you create a user. Again, at that point, what we would do is say, what kind of channel do you want to set up? Is it a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel? And you'd have all the credentials and stuff and handle it there. We don't... I don't really want to get into building all that UI because that sounds boring right now. So what we could do is just have like... we could just assume they're all YouTube channels for now. Like you would need to go and do your diligence and just handle that and make sure that you checked and worked out how you were going to differentiate them and all that good stuff we talked about a couple weeks ago. I just don't want to be bothered to get into that. So let's just assume they're all YouTube channels. And then we can just shove what we need on here. So instead of saying, hey, are you a YouTube channel? I'm just going to assume it's a YouTube channel. And yeah, I think all the Twitch stuff we did is in... It's hard coded anyway. Yeah, let's just, like I said, we're going to wrap this app up soon anyway, so let's not worry too much about that. So we won't bother asking the channel, are you a YouTube channel? We'll just assume that that's gone away. And what we want to say is, do we have credentials for you for YouTube? And I think the only thing we need is this code. Because we already have our own kind of YouTube stuff in our config. And what I mean by that is we had a client ID. So in the YouTube, what do they call it? The Google API dashboard for developers. We signed in there. Again, this is last week's stream, I think maybe the week before. Again, available on YouTube if you want to go take a look. We created the application and we created the auth flow, and that gave us our client ID. And it gave us something else. I'm just going to load that up in the other monitor. Google API dashboard. And we were able to put those in the site config for the gem to have. So that's already says OAuth consent screen. I think I can possibly pull this over. There's nothing in there. Yeah, so we got given at some point there would have been a client ID and stuff like that. Oh, here we go. So there is OAuth 2 client IDs. So we have a client ID and some URIs of that. Okay. And a client secret was the other thing that we needed. And with that, we can then, because we've already popped that in the config for the YouTube gem, that's already set up. So now I think all we actually need on the channel is, do you have a code or not? I think. So let's do that for real, because we've been hard coding a lot recently. So let's do something. And what we'll do is my knowledge of this auth process is not very good. Add YouTube. Oh, it's actually, it's not that, is it? It's like that. Yeah, so my knowledge of this, of the details of the auth process, I've always kind of used gems or other helpers for that. So we dove in and looked at it in more detail, which is great, and we looked at a couple of resources, but I'm assuming, so add column channels. Now, this is one of the things I was thinking about last week, is where would you actually want to, where and how would you actually want to store credentials like this? So I'm going to chuck this on the channel because it's quick and easy, but I don't think that's what I would actually do in a production application. You would probably want a table for this, I would assume, because you would want a log of previous codes potentially. Again, I'm talking off the top of my head. I don't know if any of this is the case, but I'm guessing you would want to see changes over time in the codes that have been generated. You might want to see can they have more than one, and also to what object in your application are the codes associated. So I'm just adding this to channel really quickly, but what you might have is a site and an organization both have many channels. So you might want to say, okay, well, I need all of the keys for all of the channels associated with this organization, because we're going to go through and change, I don't know, we need to append something to the description of every video on this entire organization, and that's how it's spread over 10 channels. So like how you store it and where and what you store, I think those are things are all up for grabs. So that would be the design process I would go through, and kind of looking into the edge cases. And again, like when I said I was looking to change some of the stuff on this channel, I think the next application we build, I think we're going to be more in depth on that stuff and actually spend a lot more time, a more realistic amount of time on like planning and doing real stuff. So what do we want to add in? Let me just Google some of this. Like, is there best like storing or auth YouTube codes Rails? Yeah. So when we got that code back, I don't know, like, is that everlasting? Or do we need to refresh that with the token that we had? So that's another reason why I would want to know really. I don't think so, because I think that code is just like representative of having been given that permission from the user. Okay, let's just store it. YouTube auth code. I don't know. Like, you'd come up with something better than that. And it also gave us back. These are the only params it gave us back from the redirect URI last time. So let's just store these. And we can come back and change it. Again, this is all super casual. You would do way more diligence. Rails DB. Great, so we can just chuck those on there. Maybe? Great. Okay, so what we want to do is have a place where these can be set. So I'm assuming that what we need is just a controller to redirect to that associates that. When we generated that URL, where am I coming back to? So if you remember, we need to generate a URL to send people off. Oh, and Safari's just crashing. That's pretty Here we go. So YT gem Rails. Cool. So we had so many docs. Oh, here we go. Configure the app. Must register apps. We've done all that stuff. That's really good. Apps that do not require user interactions. They require user interactions. Great. Okay, so got all of this. Yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good. Did this bit. Yes, felt very proud of ourselves. You can then manage a YouTube account by passing the refresh token to the account initializer. Yep. So this we didn't have the refresh token, so we did this. Great. Yep. Build the authorizer redirected with the. Okay. Yep. Yep. We did that part. Right, so this is, okay, excellent. So we can pass the redirect URI. Great, okay, so that means that we can have, great, so that's exactly what I was looking for. So then in our routes, we can have control panel channels resource. We can have in here, what does this come back as a get, I would guess? Oh, we can just have a match anything. We could set it like this, I guess. Something like that. And then if we go to our usual, I'm just gonna keep going for a section, a quick. So basically what we're gonna do is, pretty singular, I guess. So you can, again, this is not how I actually designed this, but just trying to be, just trying to make it really obvious. YouTube auth. Okay, so we're going to be in our control panel channel view. And so we're like, hey, this is channel 37 or whatever it is. Great. Okay, well, do you have your YouTube credentials? And the way we're going to ask that is, are these two columns that we've added populated, specifically the code one? I don't actually know if this is the correct design. We're just sketching this out and see if it works. And if it says no, we're going to be like, great. Okay, well, here's a button. Go and let's go and auth it. And the button that we're creating is using this code from the gem. So what we need is this redirect URI. How we need to tell it where to come back to. And when it comes back, it's going to have the code and the scopes attached to it. So we need somewhere to bring it back to, and we need to be ready for that to receive it. So I'm just going to create a YouTube auth controller. Again, don't know if this is the correct design. It's just a design that I'm making up on the fly. Haven't thought about any edge cases or any best practice or anything like that. We're just doing it live. Okay, so we've got suspensions. Here we can do, and again, there are gems that handle this stuff as well. So you might not have to deal with any of that stuff. Cool. Okay. Here. Just make that bigger. I'm going to take all of that, check it in here. Ditch all of that. Cool. I'm skipping all the tests as well, so just to give you an idea of how little we're doing correctly. But what I'm not quite sure of is whether we get a get or a post back. So let's just Google that. YouTube auth redirect URI get post. I hope I'm doing this even vaguely correctly because I'm not 100% sure where refresh tokens come into it. You need to authenticate your code once because you get refresh token back. New access token. Because I'm only getting a code back. Do I then need to generate a refresh token on my own? Once I've done that, I don't. It worked last week, so let's not worry too much about it. Okay, cool. So what will this respond to at the moment? Post. Can we add via to resources? Rails roots resources via? Or is that not what resources is for and I should just code it if I needed to do both? Rails resources. Create get. I could just try this. Yeah, I think create might be mapped to post, I would assume, which would make total sense. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Well, it's Sunday morning. Right. Let's actually not worry too much about that. Let's just put some what am I doing here? Let's just put some stuff out. If we hit it at all, who cares? Okay, so let's go and do some very crude logic in our view. And say, so you want control panel, channels, show. And we're adding it to even more crude logic. So let's say above this crude logic, we'll say, do you have whatever the fields we just added were? YouTube auth code. Well, let's do empty there as well. So if it's empty, we'll say show a button. Which of? Oh, actually, we added loads of view components, didn't we? I've got one called button. It's actual work paying off from previous streams. This might be a total win. How do you do? How do you do? Okay, here we go. So we've got panel component, form input, button component, but it's actually a real button. Okay, so we could do text button or something like that. Okay, we haven't got time to go down that rabbit hole again. We're just gonna fake this completely. We're gonna add yet more arbitrary. What do you put on those like authy buttons? It's like I'll just write the word YouTube. That everyone will get that. Just get the gist. No, it's like it's not sign in with, is it? Is it because it's like authenticate with? Sign it. Add YouTube. Oh, that'll do. Whatever. And then if the else we just care about this channel is linked to a YouTube account. Now, more importantly, what is the URL of the button? That's all we really care about because we need to generate it. So again, we're just going to do that in the view because we're being super, I'm just chucking everything and everywhere today. So we want this and No, it's the wrong one. This one. So we can copy that. But again, let's not worry about how this looks. It's just right, let me put everything in one tab and make the font a bit bigger so we can make this a bit more readable. Close this one, close this, bump that font size up. Okay, so go now. So we can in here. Oh, now what was that? That was, if we open console, we did this in here last week, so we can just go and steal it, I think. I think it was like, here. Again, just going to hard code this. You would do something more sensible than that. You would do like know the things that you actually needed. Now, redirect URI. This is what we've just been working on. So because we now have this and it's specific to the channel we're working on, we should be able to do this, and again, yeah, people just do it in line, it's awful. But then I think we should be able to just pass the channel, which I'm assuming we have, to that. And let's just render that. Let's just render that out actually. So I think if we go back to here, we'll have an incredibly ugly. I wonder if I method YouTube auth code. Oh, I thought we ran the migration against that. Oh, did I need to start the server again? Okay, so. Oh, it's at videos. Okay, so if channel.youtube videos, not paying any attention. Right, come on then. Empty for nil. Oh, okay, so we just need to say, is it that? But it could, blank handles that, doesn't it? Great, okay, cool. Okay, amazing. So now we have this long gibberish URL, great. And this should redirect to control panel / channel. Now 37 is the part that we were looking for there. And we're like, oh, cool. That is, that's what going to send, that's what's going to associate the right OAuth key with the right channel, I would guess. Again, there's probably like a bajillion security concerns that I'm totally skipping over. So if you're ever building one of these, like, this is not a tutorial. This is just seeing if I can get this working. Well, let's call this redirect URI. But I'm totally just working on the assumption that we would have some way of knowing that. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, I guess, I mean, when you redirect the user back, they would still need to have the session on your app, because you're going into the control panel area, which means you still have to be signed in. So you would have to assume that in order to come back to the redirect URI and process that, they would still need to be logged in as that channel. So then you would know that if they're coming back with a code, they can only associate it with that channel anyway. So yeah, you're looking for, like, could you try and put the wrong code in the wrong channel and all those other things. Right, let's not worry about that. So we now have a redirect URI. Great. Again, we wouldn't do it in there, but that'll do. So we're going to do link to. I think we can just do that and make it a block. Is that how you do that? No. Oh, URI, sorry. Oh, I'm trying to render that. Oh, you've got to render. This is why when you actually write tests, it's 15 times, feels 15 times slower, but it's actually the right speed because you're You think you're going faster when you're just hacking it together, but you're 100% not, because you spend most of your life fixing typos. Okay, so I'm going to click this, and we should just missing parameter required scope. Okay, right. Okay, why did it not add scope to that? Does this need to be escaped? Is it because this one looks all funky when you hover over this? Client ID equals. I'm not responsible for any code that anyone produces as a result of watching any of these streams. I caveat every other sentence is my legal compliance-based get out clause. The hours and meetings that we all have to spend with legal departments. I would love someone to bring a clip of this. I got it off this guy. He seems legit, and he doesn't caveat any of it. Right, come on. This is where's scope equals blank? Wait, I've put the scope in here. I put scopes. Scoper. Oh, I copied that from the docs. No, scope equals. Is that just being truncated in the view? Hang on a second. Let's actually see what's being produced there. No, it is scope equals. But that's the... Oh, hang on. Is this the... Wait, so I got the URL from here. Scopes equals scopes. Scopes is your... Oh, it needs to be an array. This is I did the exact thing last week, and then I totally forgot. So now if we refresh, yep, cool. So now when we click through, invalid parameter value for missing reader, missing scheme in the URI. Oh, it's this is the path, and we need the URL. So that's a regular gotcha with anything in Rails. Well, not with anything in Rails. It's a regular gotcha that I do all the time, where I write path so often. Path is a relative URL, so it doesn't have the thingamajiggy, the domain and all that stuff at the start. So you need the path. And we should see the difference now. Sorry, this font is super small here, sorry. So let's close this bit down. So if we inspect this, you can see we've now got localhost, blah, blah, blah. You can see all that stuff. And now, great. Okay, so the redirect URL and the request does not match the ones authorized for OAuth client to update the authorized URLs. Visit. Now I've got that open in my other tab, so let me just right. Okay, so do we actually have to... Okay, so let me... Okay, right. So can we put params on the end? How do we know... We have to have a fixed URL. So this design... So luckily my caveats worked, because I said I didn't know if this design was any good, and it isn't. So the issue is that we've got in our roots, we have got the channel ID. Again, just bump the font size up here. So we've got the channel ID in the path, but the Google auth service only gives us a fixed URL. So we actually don't want this at all. We actually want it to be something like control panel / YouTube auth or something like that. We don't need any of that stuff. And then it can handle the redirect from there. But that means that we hopefully can pass it params, so we know which channel it is. Let's find out. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna add in roots. We can lift all of this out of, or we can leave it in control panel. And we just pop it down here. That will now not be that. So now if we refresh, this. So OAuth stuff should be down here, and we just got control panel. YouTube OAuth. Again, you probably wouldn't name it or structure it like this, but we're just getting the gist. So we do app controllers. We just got to bump it out of here and up into our control panel. And then we can lose this section here. Okay, so we still got the param ID that we want it to be channel ID. So I'm wondering if we can, we can generate the route we need now. Should be, this, but remember we need URL on the end in our view where we're generating it. So we're going to swap out all of this part. But I'm hoping, can we do then channel underscore ID, then channel.id. And I wonder if they will allow us to do that because we want to know which channel it's for. Again, like I said, never done this before, so don't know what we're doing. So let's go back again. And I need to add this URL. Here to our OAuth app. And is it, are we using HTTP? I'm assuming this is all just HTTP. Okay. So add URI. Save. Saving. I'm just doing this in the other window. Okay, so authorize redirect URIs. The domains of URIs below consent screens as authorized domains. Okay. So let's give it a try now. Okay, so let's try it without the, let's try it without this. Just see if that works, because that should be allowed. Let's just check. So in here, what we're saying is we want to allow localhost / control panel / YouTube underscore OAuth. And on the other screen, I have got localhost / control panel / YouTube OAuth. So that is now listed. So that now works. Okay. So that's interesting. So how do I tie the thing from passing off here? My memory from last week is we only got this back, but I must be wrong. We must have got something else back as well. How do we tie the person clicking this button to them coming back? Let's just check in our let's just check in our logs that if we hit this, we get something. Here we get that. I'm not sure whether it is a get. Can I? Let's just update this to be via. Is it this? Is it that? It's like a memory there. It seems to be doing it. So I'm hoping that will now work with get or post requests. So let's try that again. Expected control panel YouTube OAuth controller. Oh, didn't rename this. YouTube, what that one read? Oh, auth controller. Yeah, I think they were, again, naming all over the place, everything else all over the place. Great. Couldn't find that without an ID. Okay, so let's just turn that off for a second. So no matter what happens, we should hit this, and let's in here spit out the params. No template for interactive request. Okay. So in here, or we can just put like, we can just put like head 200. Cool. Okay. So now we should have a valid. Great. So this is what we expect to see when YouTube comes back. And then we can at least see what's what. So refresh this. Oh, I did this for Sundae Club. I'm just gonna see if this is already listed. I'm just on the other screen checking to see if, like, we like linked all this up last week. Is this app listed somewhere in the channel? Like, is it already there? And it'll be like, no, actually, you've already authed this. Permissions. Manage permissions. Okay, where do you see what auth permissions you have handed out in YouTube? That is, I feel like I'm entering the labyrinthine config and edit settings, which are like in YouTube, you just go around in a giant circle for the rest of existence. What is a brand account? In YouTube terms, is it like channel? Where is this? Is just my YouTube account now. Oh god, I'm not showing all this stuff. Like, I'm worried that this will have like, it'll put my bank details and PIN card up on the screen if I put it on the other, if I put it on the right screen. Hang on a second, I don't even know what's in here. Right, find auth apps for YouTube channel. I'm googling it. Because how I need to, presumably as the client, I need to be able to revoke the auth, right? No. Manage permissions. Move permissions. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Agreements, uploaded channel, advanced settings, feature eligibility, general, nothing. Okay, let's just try and auth this now. No idea. What's gonna happen? I am just gonna bump this to the other screen really quickly because I'm not sure what's about to appear here. Not that I have anything too weird, but there might be like just other stuff. So bear with me just a second. So I'm gonna click on add YouTube. It shows me a list of my Google accounts, like various Google accounts I have. So then it says choose your account or brand account. Okay, so what, the Sundae Club on here. Google hasn't verified this app. This is what we saw last time. Continue because it's in test mode, basically, but that's all good. Sundae Club wants to access your account. This will allow Sundae Club to see, edit, and permanently delete your YouTube videos, ratings, comments, and captions, and that's the scope that we passed through previously. Make sure you trust Sundae Club. You may be sharing sensitive info with this site or app. Great, all good. Allow. Okay, and now it's redirected us back. Ta-da! Okay, pretty sure that code... Oh no, I say, okay, so I can put the code on the stream because the code only works in conjunction with the client ID, I hope. Right, now here is my question. How do I know? So let's say I have multiple channels being authed at the same time. Let's say I have 100 YouTube channels and each person clicks auth with YouTube. How do I know whose code that is? Does it have the channel ID in it? What's our YouTube channel ID? It's got QQA in it. No. So all I know from this is that I have a code with a scope. So, and this is what we used last week. This then gave us what we needed. But from what I could see, I couldn't make the URL dynamic at all and still have it signed off by the Google dashboardy thing. Users will be redirected to this path after they have authenticated with Google. The path will be appended with the authorization code for access and must have a protocol. It can't contain URL fragments, relative paths, or wildcards, and can't be a public IP address. I couldn't attach params on the end of it because they did not like that. Okay, so is this some sort of auth thing that I don't know? And there is totally like a... Is there like a key or something like that that I can just pass over? This is super useful. This is like stuff that I probably should know and have always just relied on other things taken care of for me. So I'm just looking through. I wonder if we could find, I wonder if we could find open source code that did this and we could see how they do it. Just looking for that now. Okay, nothing obvious leaps out there. Okay, so let's everything is redirect an extra code path. So the following method to authenticate and initialize the account. New. Oh, okay, right. Okay, so initial. Yes, the account retrieves the. Oh, okay, right. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, everything I need is right here. Oh God, why do I do these on Sunday mornings? Right, okay, so literally everything I need is on the next line of the docs. Okay, cool. So in here, you get the email address. What else do I have in the account? Because presumably I could have like the ID of the account, and that would then tell me which one's linked to. Right, so in here, we get back. Hello in the chat. Hello. That's. I noticed the people who are in the Twitch chat today. Because it's been a really busy week around here, I didn't Google how to remove this channel from... I couldn't work out how to get rid of that mandatory field called game. And so, again, we are still associated with the computer game called Rails, which is apparently a thing. I think we can just access params because I don't need to... sanitize that. So this could, because you could have this behind basic auth. So and then you could put that, I guess, in the YouTube thing. You could have something there. Just thinking about just accessing the code param straight. So we've got one called code, and one called scope. Wait, what? YouTube book. Generate a list doing this. Account new authorization code. Oh, that's after you've saved the code. You must visit your profile page on Twitch. So I looked around and and there is on the right of the title there is an edit button. But like it would. Oh, hang on a second. You've got my interest now because you've made it sound like there's a really quick fix to this, and I couldn't see. There are 15 edit buttons on Twitch. I'm an idiot. I can't. So okay. So I sign in. Hang on a second. We're diverting from Rails. I'm just on the other screen for a second. I'll come back onto the main one. So in here. Right. So log in. What's code? Okay. So in here, this is Twitch. For that, you must visit your profile page on Twitch. I don't know what my profile page on Twitch is. Channel? And to the right of the title, there is an edit button. So I'm assuming this is this stream. Oh, this is like meta. I can't handle this. To the right of the title, profile chat. Okay, profile chat. Okay, where's profile? Okay, here we go. Channel chat. Channel. Okay, yeah, great. Then in here, using chat, stream chat. Okay. Chat settings. There it is. Oh no, you just said there it is and I totally missed it. This must be wildly frustrating and I apologize for that. Under follow. Okay. I don't even know what it's doing now. It's just refreshing. This is so frustrating for everyone. Under follow. In here. Under here. Okay. Edit. Right. Great. Broadcast options. Category Rails. Okay. So but I can't, when I start the stream, this is mandatory. And it doesn't give me anything other than a list of computer games. And because it happens in OBS rather than here. So I then can't start the stream with it blank, but it only has a list of computer games. So that's why it says Rails in there. You think it's coding? Oh, so I still have to give it a... Right, that's right. So here it says category, and that makes way more sense. In OBS, it says game. So let's try, can I do coding? I'm enjoying coding for carrots. I don't know what that is. Basic programming. if anything describes my programming, basic is a very good description. Although that must annoy everyone who is streaming about programming in basic, which is a whole other thing. So basic. No, that's programming in basic. That's like a whole thing. Right, we've gone a whole thing. I'm putting in a support ticket for that because that doesn't seem right at all. Right, that's right. Okay, thank you so much for that, because I'm really glad that it's called category on Twitch and for some reason is called game in OBS. I assume that everyone who uses OBS is streaming computer games, right? So here we are generating a new account using this this information. Why would we need to put the redirect URI in? Because we've already come back from there. Let me just check that I've got those docs right. So blah, 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 blah. Right. Look, some of this. Just pass the code and initialize the account. You just finished your Rails app. Oh my God. Have you got a link to it that we could take a look at? So redirect and scopes this. Depending on the nature of it, we can be redirect to URI with an extra code parameter. Look, something. Just pass the code to the following method and initialize the account. Just pass the code to the following method. So maybe we don't need the redirect URI. Let's put in a pry here. Cool. So I think this is also where I'm getting confused. So we've had a code back here. Do we get the same code back every time? RQ, no, different code. So do we just have infinite codes? Let's go and auth it again. Okay, so we can go back, refresh. Great. Oh yeah, we're happy to provide feedback and stuff. Yeah, congrats on getting it done. So yeah, post the link and we'll I'm happy to if you're worried about that, we don't have to put it on this stream right now. Are you happy for me to pull that up and put it on the stream? Not, we don't get crazy views in this, but it's just on people check them out on the YouTube ones. Okay, so Sundae Club. Continue. Allow Sundae Club allow. Okay, so we should be in Pride now. I'm giving them. Okay. Let me. I'll do this part first. Okay, so in here, so we should have params code. Right, so that's our long code. Ah, shit! I left that redirection. So what happens if we do this? Okay, and then what can we have? Can we have account email? A request to YouTube API was sent without a valid authentication. And is that because we need the redirect URI? So if we did set that up in the same way as we do here. Do redirect URI equals this. Sorry, I'm just gonna try and oh. Just need this part. Oh, I bet I can't access that URL in the... Okay, cool. So in here, will this work? Okay, so then what can I actually do here? So the example it gave in the docs was account.email. Request to YouTube API was sent without a valid authentication. A request to YouTube API was sent without a valid authentication to display more for both service change. Okay, I want to do this then. So let's drop out of that. Yeah, that makes sense. So we haven't got redirect URI right there, but we can post in this and take that out. Cool. Okay, so let's take a break from this because we're gonna go take a look. From the chat, we have a new Rails app. So this is on Heroku. So let's go take a look. This is so exciting. Oh wow. This is super cool. Okay, so my first note is that I do not read the language that this is in, so I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm gonna guess. I'm just clicking on some stuff. Okay, so this is docs and stuff. Okay, cool. Okay, so my language skills are not amazing, but I'm gonna guess this is like beginner, intermediate, and expert. So I'm always a beginner at most things. Whoa! Okay, it's for a tournament. Okay. And then there's like an admin area here. Okay, cool. So we've got another tab open for the admin area. Oh, okay, you're just posting this stuff in the chat, so I'm assuming this is all good. Nicola 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And so this is the if I go in here, I'm assuming I now have a different experience because I'm an admin on this one. You can change it with the green. Oh, I see. So oh wow, okay, cool. That's cool. Oh, okay, cool. What game is this for? This looks amazing. What's all the categories here? Okay, hang on a second. Oh, I see. So I can go down and just get the others. Oh, a bunch of work has gone into this. So these are all the players and the matches. So I can click into a match. Oh, okay. This is super interesting. So it's like you can see, and not to bring everything back, but like it's for Age of Empires is the name of the game. I've definitely heard of Age of Empires, but you can immediately see like the like domain mapping stuff and all of the interesting problems that, not problems, but like just like the structure of things. So like the way things are categorized, all of the fields that you then have to have for each of the things that only exist in this app or this style of app. Like you will have had to start thinking about a bunch of stuff that I have never had to consider in an application before. And so I'm guessing people can use this application to like, it's for a tournament and they track like the results of each of the matches, and then it decides who wins out of everybody. Oh, this is cool. So is this using okay, so this is Tailwind, I want to no, M2 is Bootstrap, BTN secondary. That's like a Bootstrap thing, I'm gonna guess. But I think Bootstrap's changed a Bootstrap. Yeah, it's for a streamer tournament. Oh, okay, cool. So then the Claps is Bootstrap stuff as well. Okay, great. Yeah, so I saw that Bootstrap had a new version recently, so I think they're changing some pretty fundamental stuff in there from what I've briefly skimmed on Twitter. Amazing. Oh, amazing. Okay, I'm gonna post this here. If anyone wants to take a look, I will also quickly chuck this in the YouTube description for this stream. So if people want to take a look, because I never keep my repo looked at during the stream. I have not been keeping the Sundae Club repo up to date, so if people do actually want to look at someone who is doing more diligence, then yeah, there will be a link in the YouTube video, YouTube description for this. I think it might just be YouTube. I think if I update it, OBS only does one. Okay, I'm gonna close these for now because I'm just gonna try and solve this one problem before we bail for the day. Because like I said, it has been a week and I have a phenomenal volume of life admin to go and do. Right, what I am trying to check is how we tie. So we've sent our user off to the to YouTube, to the auth flow. We've had to tell YouTube in advance the URL we want them to come back to. That all works, and they come back correctly. Now, what I want to know is how we're going to tie the person. I also love Ruby. I want to know how we're going to tie them back. So when they come back, we have this code, and we already passed them off with this redirect param. And what the docs for the gem say is that we can add a link to the URL generated by running this. Boom, done. Where redirect URI is the URL you entered in the form above. Also done. Blah, blah, blah. All this done. Oh, I wonder if we need userinfo.email to get their email address. Can this do .videos without skipping out? Let's go through all of that again. Sorry, I might just, the docs might assume that you ask for their email address, which we didn't. That might be a problem. So let's go through it again. That's me. Sundae Club channel. Oh, that's then coming back then. Are we in Pry? Great. Okay, so now with this, We have an account. Can we do account.videos? .each, because I don't think it let me do size. Just do vid for video. No, great. Okay. Request to YouTube API was sent without a valid authentication. Okay, interesting. I thought this is what we did last week. I thought that we had got back the code, passed that code to an account, and then changed the thumbnail from last week, because we got the thumbnail change working. So something is not working about bringing that code back and using it. But this code. Okay, so let's just go and change our log level and see what's going on. Okay, so we can just exit out of that. We can just kill the server. So I'm gonna just I think my client ID and client secret in there, which I didn't put on there before. So I'm just gonna drop this onto the screen briefly. Config log level debug, close that, and then bring all this back. So we should now get better debugging, I'm gonna guess. Bring the server back up. So in the chat, have you ever done translations for a web page? I've never, but I might just open a new branch for the matter. Wish me luck. I'm going into an adventure. So like all of the locale stuff with Rails. No, I don't think so. I've certainly worked on apps where all of the English language content is in the locale file for English, mainly so that it was disassociated with the view. I think presumably with an aim to doing that. But no, I don't think I've ever seen one that's actually. I don't think I've ever worked on anything that's fully multilingual. But my only awareness of that is that Rails has those tools built in. So I'd be super interested to know how it goes, really. So can I just hit enter on that and go straight back into Pry? Yes, I think I can. Cool. So can we do this? Actually, we could just run that whole line again, I'm assuming, just in case that redirect URI is important. So now can we do account dot videos dot whatever? Oh, I didn't assign this. Okay, so account equals, and then account of videos at each. Rescue and use authorization code. Rescue YouTube API was sent without a valid authentication. Empty hash. Rescue and use authorization. This is the code we were looking at last week in this gem. Let's go straight back up to the top. So in here, there was a method use authorization code. We went through this. That's obviously the errors that it's spitting out there. Okay, and the auth params that it... Client ID should be set. Client secret should be set. Code should be set. Redirect should be set. Grant type should be set. Because authorization code is coming from code. What? I think... So when I'm looking at this, code... Authorization code set here. Redirect URI set. So we don't have a refresh token, but I'm not sure. Scope's not set? Does that have to be set as well? Okay, so let's do that. And pop that on the end. Okay, so now we've told it what scopes were allowed, but it's only trying to get the videos with a code that should be allowed to get the videos anyway. What's really weird about this is, what did we do last week that was correct? Because we just did it straight in the console. I brought this URL here back. Oh, maybe that's the scope it needs back. It's in the docs. It's saying I don't even need the scope. Just going back. It's saying I could get the email and the videos just with the authorization code, which is exactly what I did. So, okay, does the code from last week work? So let's just take this part. Just gonna arbitrarily do this I'm gonna do this in this prior session just to see if we can get this. Okay, and then grab code that we got back from last week. I have no idea how long these things last. This worked, so then we did okay, we can do a count of videos each. Ooh, something has changed. Okay, so have the client secret and everything hasn't changed, I don't think. Just changing the URLs. Hang on, I'm just gonna grab this window back here onto the other screen as well. Just gonna check that nope, that's all the same. Yep, so the client ID has not changed. The client secret has not changed. Client secret has not changed. The client ID has not changed. Got a code back. The OAuth things seem to work. And all we're asking is account.videos. But last week it did work. Well, okay, so let's exit out of the price session. And just try and jump over into the console, I guess. Is there anything unique? So let's reload this. I mean, I literally have what we did. It's in my console history, so code is here. Account, where's code? This is what we did last week. Okay, so let's just set the code there. I'm just gonna run last week's code, see what's different. Account equals this. Fine, got that back. This is what we've just been doing, and then we did. Whoa, okay. So IT errors unauthorized. So that code doesn't work anymore. Cool, because we've had subsequent codes. But the one that just came back is the latest one. Great. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, great. So at least last week's code doesn't work. That's a good thing. So it's not working when we get the latest code back either. The client ID and the client secret are still the same. Is the code tied to the redirect? So here, let's keep that the same. But when we did this, this has changed. So that's now. Take this stuff off. No, okay, that's not the case. Interesting. Okay. Are we not doing anything different in the YouTube config, and in the gem code it's should have, so this is now irrelevant because we know this one doesn't work and we can get more. We don't have to save that. This is where we are. This doesn't work, but we know what the codes are when they come back because we have them in the logs. And happy that the app is associated with, doesn't really matter. It should just be able to, as soon as you get the code, that works. Okay. So what did we? So let's get out of here. We're already out of there. So can we do like, in here, authentication. So getting to use authorization code has new authentications. I'm just going to spit some stuff out. Just interested to see what's actually being hit here. Again, this is not. Ideally, you would have been working more diligently. Let's just go output a symbol. Okay, so let's see if this does anything. So I think we can just start that from console, I think. So then code is that. Account is that. No, okay. Is that using this version of the gem? I think it is if a bundle open. Or do we need to do exit? But I don't have that one on this laptop, do I? This is like total. No. Spring is happening as well. Okay, loads of stuff is happening. Okay, are we not hitting that, or are we just... This is how high tech we are now at this level of debugging. We're just putting loads of outputs everywhere to see what the fuck happens. Okay, no, we're not hitting that. Not sure why though. Oh, this is for initializing the auth object, not for initializing the account. Come on, Max. Is there an initializer for this? No, we're not hitting that code. Okay, fine. Okay, that's really odd, but I'm also aware of our time running out. So we've built the flow. What gems are you using for this project? So the main gem for this one is the YT gem, which is what I've just opened up here. And that is powering all of the YouTube interaction stuff. And we're bringing back a code from YouTube, which should allow us to interact with our YouTube channel, and did last week, but I am totally missing why it's not working. But what we do now have is a controller where we can bring those requests back to, and a button where we can finding.irb where I isn't happy. Yeah, I was just trying to put those out. I mean, just trying to hit this code. I don't think I'm in the right place. I just did bundle open on the gem because I only had one version installed. But I'm wondering if is Spring like so what I'm trying to debug is what okay. Science. Okay, so fuck you, Spring. I did see that it was there. I should have done Spring stop anyway. So now we should be able to try and do something. This. Okay, so this is the output from this code here. Spring. As I'm just going to not talk about Spring. So we put a bunch of output code in here. I don't use Spring day to day actually, but I do have people at work who really value it and say that it does fast things. And obviously I do use it here because I think it's a default. So I appreciate the speed that it brings. So I'm not going to be overly cynical. Right, where's all the stuff we put in? So that's the initialize, which is, so that's the initialize for the account. And then when I called it, we didn't hit initialize there, but we must have hit these. So this is client ID. Boom. Client secret. Okay, well, right, fuck. Now I've got to scrap that because I put that on the screen. Great. Okay. So client ID, client secret. Great. Authorization code. Yeah. I don't know how people really do live streaming all the time with like that stuff there. It shouldn't be on the screen. I'll delete that app in a minute. But yeah, I know some people stream myself. So there's the code. Great. And there's the redirect URI. Excellent. Right. That method has everything it needs to get new authentication params. Okay. So this is the code from the gem. This is from the YT gem. So we got into new authentication params from here, and then we do auth equals auth.params, new authentication. So then authentications of collections dot authentications. Is there like genuine question is dot of a Rails thing? Or is there a class method called of? Because we usually use for. Yeah, self dot of. Okay. Of parent. New parent, where parent is parent, so of self. Okay, you're losing me here slightly, but let's keep going. And auth is parent dot auth. Okay, so what does dot auth of this thing bring back? Self. Okay. Okay, fine. And then what does it do? So we set it. Oh, fucking hell, I'm getting lost. I'm trying to go too quickly here. Right, and then it's assigning the authors auth params. Okay, so new authentications. And then what does it actually do with them? Where did we come from? Came from like here. Dot first. So does this instantiate them and then try and get the first one, or is there a method called first on an instance of? Okay. So when it then yeah, I would have to start going through that. So I'm just running low on time. So maybe we can just pick this up next week. Because realistically, there's no way I'm going to be looking at any of this between now and next week. And then if anyone has any bright ideas, they can drop them in the YouTube comments or anything like that. As to I'm guessing that I'm missing something super obvious because this worked. And also I'm going to have to go and destroy that OAuth app because I've posted all the auth credentials on here. So I'm guessing that we are missing something really obvious. And if not, it's a collection, and that's a, so hang on, so that's a collection. Okay, yeah. Is there like a model authentication? Right. So when it, it's just caught my attention. So when, user authorization code, authentication stop first. Oh, so this just returns that. Oh, okay. So right. So this is just returning that. And right. I thought this was actually doing the thing. Okay, but it's not doing that. This is just how the authentication. This is returning that. So when we're actually performing the action, which is like get, I guess. This is building param and gets auth as auth, and I'm guessing that, I think we even looked at some of this stuff, the base or something like that goes and works out what. So So we have videos, then we go and get the authing here. Right, I do remember this. Group, I guess. Which is auth, okay. Right, yeah, nothing in here is leaping out as to why that's not working though. Sorry, I got really interested in like how that is working, but so do we get maybe a different if we go to where the request is actually built? We are getting that out. We were earlier because we just got an empty hash back, I think. So request body, HTTP request, each that sets the request, and then there's like a make request, send request here. But we know what it's saying. It's saying you can't access it. And is there any logs in the Google? That would be handy if you got like error logs or something like that per app. No. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap this up just due to time, which is annoying, but we're going to dive straight back into this. And let me zoom out a little bit to work out what we were doing. So basically we added some new fields to the channel, which is to store the code and the scope. And then we want to store those, we want to store this piece of information, this code, back in the channel itself, so that then when we update one of the attributes on a video or something like that, we click save and we can add that callback or something that actually goes and performs that change on the YouTube channel. That's the end of the circle that we're trying to complete here. So what we've got so far is we can send the user off to YouTube, bring the code back, but we can't, well, actually we could store that. So here what we could do, in the wrong repo now, so we want to go we could do this, Sundae Club, we could do this and take a look at here. So in here what we would do is we would set this channel. We don't have the channel ID, so that's where I'm a little confused as to how we're going to tie them together, but presumably we could tie them together with some piece of information somehow. And then in here we can say channel dot YouTube auth code equals params code. We would need to sanitize that. It would be something like that, and then channel.save, and then we would show if everything went well, the user a success. And then when we made that request to in the callback to maybe update a description or a video title or something, we would use this value as the code that we would pass to the YouTube gem to give it that auth. So we'll try and complete that circle next week. That will be fun, I think. So we covered some ground, I think, and amazing. And thank you so much for showing your Rails app. Amazing. I've posted the link in the YouTube video description for anyone who wants to take a look at it. And again, like, just so excited that people are enjoying Rails and building cool stuff and that finding it useful. And I won't get a chance to do anything on this during the week, so we will just start completely fresh next Sunday. Have an amazing week, and I will see everybody next week. Thanks a lot.